Yeah. One second.
Got it?
Yeah. Is it recording? Oh, it's already recording? Okay. Destruction. Famine. Death. Of those three pictures, all of them have one thing in common. One cause in common. War. And it seems that today in our society, war has become as common as ever with military conflicts in the Middle East and potentially East Asia. And it seems that America has a big part in this war. I mean, our country was born in war, we found our success in war, and we found our culture in war. But, and this is not to say I do not respect the military. I come from a very, very cultured military family, with my grandfather serving 20 years in the Navy. However, I'm a firm believer that with all the money that we spend on our military, we could take some of that cash and spend it on things such as education and NASA. So, compared globally, just how much do we spend on our military? Does anyone have a guess? Anything at all? Well, the results might surprise you. Compared to every other military on Earth, this is a difference. In 2014, China spent $216 billion. And then, as you see, we spent $610 billion. But it gets worse. According to the fiscal budget for 2018 released by the Department of Defense, President Donald J. Trump sent Congress a budget request of $639.1 billion, $574.5 billion in base, and $64.6 billion in overseas contingency operations. Overseas contingency operations, the OCO. What is that? Well, it's not a thing that many people know about. According to an article by Ryan Alexander on U.S. News written on June 20th, 2017, the OCO is essentially a savings account meant for emergencies, but is typically spent on military constructions. So our government is essentially taking $64.6 billion tax dollars, stowing it away in a savings account, and saying, maybe we'll use it. Maybe it'll have a purpose. Why don't we take that $64.6 billion and give it an actual concrete use, something that can help Americans back home? And I'm not saying even take all of it. 64.6 could do a lot of good for our military men overseas. Take half of that. Leave them with $30 billion, which is good enough for a savings account, and bring the other 34.6 back home. Furthermore, we have a large Navy, and according to Brian Jones of Business Insider, posted on November 13, 2013, America has 19 aircraft carriers. The rest of the world has 12. And China has one, but China's lone aircraft carrier was not created by China. It is a retrofitted Soviet-age aircraft carrier, showing just how technologically advanced we are compared to the rest of the world. And it makes sense, since according to Marin Ogunnawe of the Military Mortgage Center, it takes the combined military budget of the next 7 countries to surpass the U.S. And we make up 30% of the world's military budget. Why do we need a military this large? No single battle has been fought on U.S. soil since the Aleutian Islands campaign in World War II in 1942, a campaign that I doubt many people know about. And some say, well, we have to keep peace in the Middle East, but peacekeeping forces can be done with a much smaller budget than $600 billion. Military spending makes up 54% of our discretionary spending. Discretionary spending is the money that Congress can actually pick and choose where it goes. And according to Sky Gold and Jeremy Bender of Business Insider, posted on August 31st, 2015, the military is 6 times as large as education and 34 times the size of NASA. It's the same education that employs 3.68 million Americans versus 1.32 of the military. It is 34 times large as NASA, the industry that put man on the moon and wants to put the man on Mars. As you can see here, this is the 2011 U.S. science budget, barely a smidgen compared to the 2011 U.S. military budget, further carried by the total NASA budget in its 50 years of history. 50 years of NASA doesn't even scratch our military budget in 2011. Fear not, we can make changes. The military budget can be trimmed in personnel, procurement, and research and development. According to Yachi Drazen of the National Journal on April 12, 2012, future potential battles can be and will be fought in the air, and not with people. No research is needed because our killing machines are already good enough. And furthermore, if we lower the amount of active personnel, we lower the cost of maintenance and benefits that we have to pay them, as well as procurement for arms that they need. This money can instead be spent on education and our NASA program. Research done by Julian LaFortuna et al. Of National Bureau of Economic Research in July 2016 asserts that putting more money into education helps children achieve higher test scores. And research done by C. Karebu Jackson et al., done in 2015, further states that putting more money into education allows children's family to take more money home, meaning they spend less on education. And furthermore, when those children become adults, they earn 10% more than they would have prior to having more money dumped into their education. So please, allow us to, instead of investing in the deaths of other countries' children, invest in the future of our own. Also, we can increase the NASA budget. Currently, NASA is only 0.5% of our tax budget, meaning for every dollar you spend to the government, half a penny is sent to NASA. If we double that to a penny on the dollar, then according to a video by Secret.com, with double the budget, NASA could fund the ISS past 2024, which it's scheduled to shut down then. And the human spaceflight program, which aims to put people on Mars, could also be funded. And here's a tidbit that I doubt many people know. NASA is the foremost climate change researcher in this country, meaning that if we also fund that program, we could find some solution to the global warming problem that we are having. So please, with all the potential that we can do, this allows us to visualize a more educated society. We can dream of a society where children, regardless of socioeconomic background, regardless of race, regardless of creed, regardless of sexuality, they can find a truly quality education. That those very same children can grow up to become scientists, engineers, astronauts. That those very same scientists and engineers can create probes, and those very same astronauts can take humanity's legacy and put it into the stars. A legacy not built on destruction and death, but a legacy built on learning and prosperity. The military budget is discretionary, meaning that Congress has control over how much gets put in and where it goes. So, as citizens of the United States, I implore you to write your congressman. I implore you to vote for congressmen and other elected officials that put not the death of other countrymen at a higher pedestal than the future of education and our space program. This great country is at a fork in the road. Please, help us choose the right path.